Welcome, everybody. We're here once again with the legend, Enson Inoue. It's a pleasure and an honor to be able to spend some more time with you, my brother. And I'm looking forward to hearing today's interview. It's going to be really exciting. It's a pleasure to spend some time with you. And I know everybody's going through some hard times right now. So this is a little break, and we could go into some interesting topics that people can actually enjoy and be interesting, and maybe they could do their own research and stuff about these topics as well. Enson not only is a lifelong martial artist and combat sports athlete and coach, but he also is into spirituality and creates his own products. You can find him at destinyforever.com. He makes his own bracelets, and definitely check out his podcast as well. And so, yeah, I wanted to have, before we even get into today's topic, maybe I thought it would be cool to ask you, because the last UFC just ended, and it was a heavyweight fight. Some of the biggest heavyweights right now. First, what was your take on that fight? And maybe we can even talk about, before we get in real quick, we could talk about what you think about Francis and how he lines up with the other heavyweights, some of the best heavyweights of all time.
Well, for one, I thought Cyril was gonna beat Francis because of his agility and his movement, and it totally slipped my mind of Francis actually playing the ground game, because one of my students trains in Las Vegas. We're gonna go up again in a couple months, but Francis has good grappling. Francis had good takedowns. And it didn't dawn on me that, he was actually possibly going to use that. And I guess, I don't know if it was Eric Nixick's or Nixick. I don't know if it was Eric Nixick's game plan, or it was something that they figured out during the fight was happening, because apparently the first 2 rounds, that wasn't a part of the strategy. But I think they figure something out. That's a sign of a good coach, where they can adjust to the environment.
Is it Eric?
It was a perfect game plan.
Yeah, is it Eric Nixick's that was working with him mostly, or does Randy Couture, you think, have much to do with his training camps, or is it just mostly Nixick and some other people, you think?
I think Dewey is like his mitt holder. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Eric does a lot of the mitt holding, and I think he's the head coach for Francis. Yeah, he's a smart guy. I've seen his training, I've seen his coaching, and very intellectual, very smart. The techniques he shows and the combinations and movement that he works with is just incredible.
Wow.
So Francis is in super good hands.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I was thinking, man, maybe that was his best chance of actually winning, by taking him down, because he's really athletic and everything's surreal, and he moves so much. And it's like, I think Francis sometimes has to plant his feet to get somebody, he's plants his feet and then just starts swinging and stuff. And Surreal is too much for that. He's not there for that.
I thought it was just a better percentage for Surreal, because I thought that I just totally disregarded the fact that Francis could actually take him down and control him on the ground.
Dude,
so
he was slamming.
Whole thing was,
he was slamming him with a blown out knee too.
Yeah. So my whole thing was, I thought that Francis had to lay that one big punch, and I thought that Cyril had enough agility that he would stay away from that, and hopefully in the later rounds, Francis would slow down, and he would be able to avoid it even more. But I didn't take into consideration the takedowns in that side of the game, which Francis showed that always making improvements, getting better as a mixed martial artist as the years pass. So anyone's going to beat Francis, they got to do it soon.
That's true. Yeah.
It's
funny, man. He was doing that with a blown out ACL too.
I know, that's incredible. Huh? Now we know that. Yeah.
Crazy, right? So where do you think he stacks up with some of the heavyweights of all time? What do you think he would have done with Semi Schilt in his prime, or somebody like that, or that would be an interesting thing to see, because everybody's saying, well, he's the best of all time, and I'm thinking to myself, well, if he was striking with Semi Show, I don't think he would win. Maybe on the ground he would now, but
I don't know if Semi Schilt was never a UFC champion, so I would look at someone like Mark Coleman, and
yeah,
I think styles make fights, and I think someone like Mark Coleman with his wrestling, I think he would. Like we saw what happened when I think who was it that took him down? Miocic. I think Miocic in their first fight.
yeah, he beat
Took him down and pretty much
Yeah.
beat him on the ground with Francis on his back. And I think Coleman would probably easily do that.
Did he ever fight for Doom? Did Francis ever fight for Doom? I don't know if he did. That would be an interesting fight.
That would be, yeah. So, Francis is the champ, but I don't think he's head over heels better than all the other heavyweight fighters. I think styles make fights.
Yeah.
So someone like Derek Lewis, I think he's good with that. Someone, all the other, guys like Curtis Blades might give him trouble because he's more well-rounded.
What
I
about
think
the
a
guy?
pure wrestler would give him the most problems, though.
What about the I think he's from New Zealand. He drinks Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, I think Ty's more of a striker. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think it'd be the same problem with Derek Lewis because Lewis is a striker. I really would like to see what he would do with John Jones because John Jones has good takedowns and John Jones is good on the ground. And John Jones has exceptional striking. So, I mean,
that would be
of course, Francis that has that one punch chance if he hits anybody with one punch, in the fight. So he always has that, that one punch prayer. So, but I think that John Jones would be exciting.
Yeah, that's one of my top fights that I would like to see now. But if I could take Francis and right now and plop him in at Pride, like in the back of the day, how would you think if you took him right now and plopped him in with Alexander Emelianenko or someone like that? How would he do? That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's great, but I think some people like that might even beat him. I think Alexander Emelianenko, if he wasn't into the drinking and everything that I think that hurt his career a little bit, I think that he could have been even better than Fedor.
It would be interesting, seeing that, him and Heath Hearing, him and Igor Vovikanchin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think anyone would dominate anyone. I think it would be up in the air, kind of like how Pride was, I think if anything, Emelianenko was the one that kind of dominated, but other than that, maybe Nogueira.
Yeah.
Even Pride Nogueira and Francis would be interesting. There's so many matchups that actually would be pretty interesting.
That's
right
one
now,
of the best.
I almost feel like the heavyweight division of the UFC is a pretty I don't want to say boring, but it's kind of you don't have that much variety of fighters in the heavyweight division. Yeah. They're all similar, yeah.
Yeah, the one good thing too about it is it seems like your career can last longer when you're a heavyweight for some reason. The guys seem to last longer when they're heavyweights. They you know what I mean? They fight well into their 40s sometimes, and sometimes it seems like they I don't know. It seems like they last longer sometimes as a heavyweight for some reason. You know what I mean?
It's just unfortunate all the problems with the UFC and Francis. I mean, how long is he actually going to stay with the UFC?
I think he's done.
Yeah, if anything, he might be a fight with John, and I don't know because with the clause in there, he has to fight again. But then with the knee surgery, it'll take him off that probation period, so he actually doesn't need to fight again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what does he have? A year or a fight, right? It's something like that.
I think it was 3 months. I think it was 3 months, and the surgery they're saying he's going to come back in 9 months. So it's way over the period. So
that's a year right there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably going to just it's a legit thing, his knee. So it's not like he's sitting out on purpose and it's going to be a legal problem. I think it's an unfortunate situation where we might not be able to see Francis fight in the UFC again, which is kind of a bummer.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, that sucks. That really does. Because he's one of the most excited. If they let him go, that's gonna be horrible, man. But yeah, that would have been interesting, even to see him against Mirko Krokop or Fedor, or even Cabbage Carrera, man. Were you buddies with Cabbage?
Yeah. Cabbage actually was my sparring partner when I fought Nogueira. I flew him up to Japan.
Wow.
Tough
Wow.
kid, that's why he was good sparring partner.
He's still around, Cabbage? How's he doing?
I think he's hasn't officially retired. I think I don't know. I saw him like 5 years ago, and he was saying he was going to make a comeback. But
Wow.
what Cabbage says and what Cabbage does is two different things. If he puts his mind to it and gets in a training camp, I think he probably still wants to fight again. But that's a big if, yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe like even if something like bare knuckle might be good for him, just a bare knuckle.
It actually would be.
Right, right. I remember seeing him against Butterbeat, man. That's crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
So so thank you for answering that. That was awesome, man. So the reason why I wanted to have you back on also was to talk about a little bit more about the spiritual side. Like, was there any places in Japan or Hawaii or wherever in your life that you had both a positive and negative spiritual experience? Like, was there anything where you felt like even a place was haunted or anything like that, or another place where you had like a positive spiritual moment? So I saw the one thing on YouTube, like one guy that you met on the street. I don't know if he was a homeless man or something, but the guy actually like thought you were a ghost. Like, and that to me was like a real interesting moment, and and things like that. So I feel like the spiritual side was in you already too. Like even when you were fighting, and even now, you sort of gravitate towards that. So was there any experiences that you had in any locations? Like, have you ever been even to like Suicide Forest in Japan or anywhere like that?
Me and my wife actually considered checking out Suicide Forest because we are interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we didn't feel like the reason of because we wanted to check it out was actually a reason that wouldn't disrespect the spirits. So we decided not to go. We want to go check out Suicide Forest because we want to check it out. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I just felt like it was just a little bit too superficial and might be very disrespectful. So we decided not to. The only thing I did have, I can't really say there was ever a positive experience, but do you know about the 88 temple pilgrimage in Shikoku?
No.
It's one of the few pilgrimages in the world that it's a full circle.
It's not the one where it's not the one where they carry something like the Ark of the Covenant, is it? Where they carry?
No, it's just people that dress in pilgrims wear, which is all white, because when people die in Japan, they're buried in all white. So a lot of pilgrims back in the day would die on the pilgrimage. So if they died there, they carried a stick, which is they call it sue, and on the markings of the stick, it had markings like a tombstone. So if you died, you're in white already. The stick would be your tombstone. So there's a 880-mile pilgrimage that's around the island of Shikoku, and I walked that pilgrimage. I walked all 880 miles, and
wow,
it goes through 4 prefectures. So there's one prefecture they call the Awakening Prefecture, and then there's another prefecture where in some instances there's 3 days walk between temples, and that's considered the Perseverance stage. And then the third temple is when they have a lot of the temples on top of mountains. So that's the I don't know why they call it the Enlightening stage. I thought that should be the Perseverance stage. Wow. But
so it's almost like the walk is a spiritual initiation, almost like.
Yes, yeah, it's a spiritual initiation. And then the last prefecture that you walk through, all the temples are close together, and it becomes the Nirvana stage. So the interesting thing, the story that I have now is the prefecture Kochi is the one on the bottom on the ocean side, and temples are far apart. Like there was one temple that I walked 3 days to get to the next temple. And when you walk, if you walk at night, we're not supposed to walk at night. You're supposed to stop walking at 12 to 6 a.m. is when the spirits move. Wow. So they advise you not to walk on those times. And because you're a person that is visiting holy temples, you're a magnet to spirits.
They know you're there. They know you're coming.
Go with you. Yeah. Wow. So you're very attractive to them. So when I was walking it was the middle of the summer of 2020, and was it 2010? 2010.
They're aware of your walk. That's amazing. In
Yeah.
Italian, they call them the folletto, the fairies and the spirits and everything that follow you. Yeah, that's amazing, dude.
So you're like a magnet. So you're walking through that, and I'm walking. Okay, there's a area where there's mountain, and the next side is a cliff to the ocean. And I'm walking through that area, and literally parallel to me, I'd say about 20 feet from me, distinctly I hear footsteps. And it's human footsteps. It's not like a bear or a monkey or a boar. I wasn't aware there are no bears in Shikoku. So I instantly thought, if anything, it sounded like a human or a bear. And I'm thinking, there's no way a human be walking in the mountains like that, in the dark like that. So I, out of curiosity, I shined my light, and there was rustling, and it stopped. And it got real quiet. So I said, oh, fuck. I thought bear. So I'm walking back with my light shining there, backwards, backpedaling, walking, waiting until I get far enough, turn around, walk forward as fast as I can. The crazy thing is, as I continued to walk, I felt this real hot, like someone was blowing a blow dry on the back of my neck.
Whoa.
And then I had these goosebumps on my full body that I've never had before. And I had this, almost like the feeling I got was people on the mountain, there was many people looking at me. So it was kind of freaky. So I just thought,
it's like you were giving a spirit
signs,
a piggyback ride. It's like you giving him a piggy.
So all those signs gave me this little eerie feeling, but then I still in the back of my head was saying, okay, it probably was an animal, a bear. So I'm walking, and the crazy thing is 3 hours later into walk, the exact same thing happens. 20 feet from me, footsteps in the mountains again, exactly like out of the blue. It starts up again, shine the light, rustling, stops, nothing happens. And I backpedal again, finally get to the next temple in the morning. And I asked the priest, I asked him, are the bears dangerous here? Because I assumed it was a bear because it wasn't a boar or a monkey. And he goes, bears? He said, there's no bears in Shikoku. I'm like, whoa. I said, no. I explained to him what I heard. I said, no, this is what happened. And he goes, it must have been a spirit. And I'm like, well, he said it like so nonchalantly, like, whoa, wait.
Yeah.
So I told him, no, it can't be a spirit. It's got to be something living. I said, because when I shined my light, there was rustling and it stopped, like something was startled by the light. And he goes, yeah. He said, that's not unusual for that to happen with spirits. I'm like, whoa, fuck. So
yeah, crazy, dude.
Yeah, so that, man, and then there's another instance in my walk that I was walking up a mountain, and I remember there was a tree grove that was overgrowing the road, like almost like a tunnel with trees. I remember walking through that area, and I distinctly felt like someone was behind me. I mean, it was so strong, the presence, that I turned around about 2 or 3 times to see if someone was walking behind me. And there was no one behind me. So it's like, that's weird, man. So I walked up, went to the temple, came back down. And as I'm walking down, I'm thinking, okay, let's see what happens if I feel that thing in the same area, because I thought maybe it was just that eerie, the trees were growing and the grove made it feel real eerie. So I had that little bit of an eerie feeling. So I'm walking down, and in a totally different area where there's no, I noticed it. I just felt it was a different area. I felt the same presence. And again, I turned around to check if someone was behind me. No one was behind me. And I was saying, wow, that's weird. It happened in a different section. I walked about another 2 minutes down the mountain, turned around to look back, just to, that where I just came through. And little did I realize that I was walking through the same area, but because you're walking the opposite way, I didn't realize it was that same tree grove area.
Wow.
I turned around and looked at it, it was the exact same area. So I was thinking, okay, it wasn't me having that eerie feeling, because when I walked back, I didn't realize where I was. I didn't have that feeling.
Wow.
But the exact same feeling, man. And, I'm not a guy that feels spirits, I mean.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'm a little bit little bit oblivious to it. I don't feel it. A lot of my friends do, but I don't. So the presence has got to be really powerful there in Shikoku for me to have felt it.
It's almost like you gave him like a piggyback ride up to the next temple.
Never know, man. They say that happens. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible, man. Thank you for sharing that with us. I really appreciate that. That's really amazing. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I agree too about the suicide forest, because I don't like when a lot of those like ghost hunting shows do that. They go to a spot and they like sort of like antagonize the spirits and things
Like
like that.
Logan Paul did. Yeah.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah, I don't agree with that, but it would be interesting maybe to take a hike through Mount Fuji and maybe even see the foothills, because I think that's there. It's at the foothills near Mount. Yeah, so I was wondering if you had ever done that, but I do agree with your and your wife's decision. You know, that's a good point that you brought up, because it is almost like exploiting them in a way. If I ever did it, I wouldn't go to like record it and make a video out of it or anything like that. I would do it just for the hike and for the experience, you know.
They also say that there's a lot of spirits in the suicide forest that's not happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in long ago Japan, there's a lot of people that when they couldn't take care of their elder parents like that, they would drop them off there and leave them to die.
Wow.
Instead of putting them in an old folks home. So there's a lot of grieving spirits in there that didn't want to be there.
Wow. So it's interesting.
It's not yeah.
That's,
and there's a story of a guy that went in there that went in there looking for a friend and somehow was coerced by the spirits that he needs to kill himself. So the spirits are that type of really not the most positive spirits in there. So they're not happy spirits in there.
I would stay out of there, man. Yeah, it seems like the energy of those people that got dropped off there and left for dead, it almost became a magnet for that kind of, that imprint, that DNA imprint on the area.
I got another story. Again, not a positive one, but we went on the walk across. I did a walk across Japan where I walked from the north end of Japan to the south end, and I walked with 3 guys, me and 2 other guys. So one guy was Roman, one of my students. Another guy was one of the guys that used to teach at one of my schools, Mike Fowler, jiu-jitsu guy. But he we walked through Sekigahara. Sekigahara is if you go Google the Battle of Sekigahara, it's the most brutal samurai battle in the history of Japan, where samurai from the south met up with the samurai from Tokyo, and they had a battle in a field that I think it was tens of thousands of samurai lost their lives in a mere hour or so.
Wow, that's like a Gettysburg of Japan.
Yeah. So
wow,
when we were going to walk through there, we were just pretty much sleeping whenever it got dark. So a lot of my Yakuza friends told me, don't sleep in Sekigahara because there's a lot of angry spirits there that died there that wasn't happy. And the craziest thing about it was I wasn't that afraid of that, but I was kind of like, not a good idea, but we'll see what happens. And the crazy thing is it fell nightfall, and where we had to sleep was right where we were when we were in Sekigahara. So we decided to make camp next to a 7-Eleven. We slept there in the middle of the night. It started raining, so we had to move everything we had into somewhere that we wouldn't get wet. So we hastily moved into this area that was a storefront that had a roof over it. So we slept and lined our sleeping bags there and slept there. Woke up in the morning. It was kind of funny because we didn't realize straight across the street from us was a entrance straight into a temple.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, I got up nothing, but Mike Fowler, when he woke up, he looked really afraid.
So you were basically sleeping at a temple in Sekigahara.
Yeah, and Mike Fowler told me that in the middle of the night, I don't know, I hear people have this normally, but it's just funny that doesn't really happen to him, but it happened to him that night, that he felt like somebody was holding him down. and he was
Wow.
trying to scream and trying to get up to ask us for help,
And he couldn't even
but he
get
said
to, he couldn't even get it
he
out.
couldn't. So he felt like he
Wow.
was getting held down and stopped.
I
So
know that. I know that.
maybe
I've
one
had
of
that
those
happen.
spirits went to him and said, "Hey, this is the fucker we're gonna pick on tonight." I don't know.
That's like a succubus or Lilith type where, held, yeah, dude. Oh my God. That is
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's, I know that feeling, man. When you can't even like get it out of your throat. It's like stuck. Yeah,
I've never
you try
had
to.
that, so but I
Oh
can
my God.
imagine it's freaking horrible to have that situation happen.
And everything goes whoa, and you can't even you want to scream, but you can't even get it out, man. It's like you're frozen.
You know what's real crazy though, man? In Sekigahara, you can actually go there, and there's a open huge park where the battle took place, and it's just it's real you get awestruck because you just think that hundreds of years ago
Yeah.
samurai were fighting to the deaths right on this field in front of us.
It's almost, I bet you can almost like hear the battle cries in the silence
Yeah, so
sometimes.
with the advice of my wife, we when we left Sekigahara, we did a little prayer that
Oh, that
to the
was good.
spirit, thanking us for having us as visitors, and would appreciate if you just let us go on our journey alone, so they
That's
don't
a good idea.
come with us. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, that's a really good idea. That's really great that she told you guys that, man, because
yeah,
that was good advice. That was really good advice.
yeah.
I wonder if that area has a lot of like granite and stuff in the grounds, because like the granite has crystal in it, and like I think it sometimes when there's like really bad energetic, and even positive, I guess, moments, it gets stuck like imprinted in the crystal. And it seems a lot of those areas have paranormal activity. Like even Gettysburg has all black granite in the ground over there, and that has
Oh
all
wow.
crystal. Yeah, yeah, I noticed that. That's I've been doing a lot of research on that over the years. That a lot of these paranormal phenomenon spots have granite around them, or like red granite or black granite or something like that. Yeah, even the
Wow.
obelisk. Yeah, even all the old Egyptian obelisks, they're all made out of like red granite and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you, dude, for sharing that stories. Those were incredible. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you coming on and spending some time with me. Maybe in the future
Right.
we can go over some fights and stuff together as well, because that's really great. So
Anytime, buddy. Right on, bro.
I really appreciate it. Everybody, check out Enson's. When do you actually do your podcast?
It's about every 3 or 4 days, and
Yep.
we're covering fights, covering incidents, all different types of stuff. We just actually had a Rampage Jackson on.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna have next week. We're gonna have Guy Menser on.
Nice guy. Wow. I
Me,
haven't thought
me
about
and
that
Guy
guy.
kind of have a history. We were supposed to fight in UFC 13. We had a
Wow.
little bit of a problem where after he fought Egan,
Was that Bad
he
Blood? Was that Bad Blood or no? Was that the
I forget. I
not
forget
you?
which
No,
one it
no.
was.
I was thinking Pride. I was thinking Pride. You were supposed to fight in UFC against Guy.
UFC 13. Yeah,
Wow.
we're in the tournament, and he beat Leninger, and I beat Royce Alger, and we're supposed to fight in the finals. But I guess I had a little crack in my nose, my face plate. When I blew my nose, my eye blew up, and the doctor stopped.
Oh, you had your eyes closed and you blew your nose.
Yeah,
Oh
some
my
bro,
God.
amateur mistake.
No, yeah, no. People don't realize it until it first happens. The first.
Yeah,
Look at who did that not too long ago. Cowboy Cerrone. Did you
yeah.
remember when?
Cowboy did
Oh,
that too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, dude. Oh my God. That's crazy. Wow. Yeah, I just saw the fight
Yeah,
that you put.
Pride also had Guy do some stupid circus act where they had him, after he beat Egan, they wanted him to call me out pro wrestling style. He thought I knew, I didn't know, and there was a little problem. So that's another thing we're probably going to be able to talk about. So
That's cool.
yeah,
I think I
interesting
remember that.
podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guy was like one of the first, first well-rounded fighters, man. He was like
yeah,
already well, you know what I mean? Yeah, people don't give him enough respect for that.
yeah.
He
One
was
of the
really,
pioneers for sure.
for sure, man. Yeah, for sure. Remember when he had the ponytail when he first started? He had a long
Yeah, with
ponytail.
him and what was that guy? Fairfield, they're grabbing each other's hair and pounding
Yeah.
each other in the face. I don't know.
Yeah.
They looked alike too. You didn't know who was who, yeah? Because they had
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ponytails. I remember that.
I remember. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's amazing being able to talk fights with you. I could do that all day with you, all different fights. Yeah, and I saw you.
Fights and crystals, huh?
Yeah, fights and crystals, man. Yeah, we showed the pyramids and stuff. Yeah, my buddy Masaki might be stopping making these soon. So he's been doing them for years, but he's going to be coming out to Japan. So maybe you guys can link up. Is Masaki
For
Miyagawa?
sure, man.
Yeah,
What am I getting one of those made for my house?
yeah, dude. He actually worked, got hired from some like Hollywood, high class Hollywood people to show them how to make some of these. You know, he's been doing it for a while. He's out in Los Angeles. His family actually were low level. He has the records going back to the 1600s for his family, and his family at first were low level samurais, like peasant level samurais, and then they had a
Cool.
battle. They had a battle and they lost, so they either had to kill themselves or become Buddhist priests. So then they became Buddhist priests, and then they for like 400 years his family's been taking care of like Buddhist temples and stuff. And
Wow, that's
his
interesting.
dad, yeah, his parents do it out in LA now. Yeah, his mom was like born in a camp, a Japanese camp in the 1940s.
Wow.
Yeah. You remember when they like after the Korea? I think it was after the Korea. Yeah, they put the Japanese in camps in California and stuff.
Even in Hawaii, yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's where his mom was born. Yeah, so it would be interesting. You guys could link up soon too. He's a really good guy, and yeah, I
That
would
would
love
be
to have
cool.
you on. Yeah, I would love to have you on again, man. It's a pleasure and an honor to
Anytime.
be speaking with you, man. Thank you so much. Take care, brother.
Right on, bro. Let me know, man.
All right,
Shoot.
be safe.
All right.